Hello. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sean and this is the Logical Reactor. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction on AI data centers, and it's called how AI is using up all our drinking water. I'm sure most of you guys already know that these AI data centers, these youth centers, are consuming massive amounts of fresh water around the world, whether it's streams or rivers, ponds, lakes. They are consuming massive amounts of water daily to keep AI running, to keep these centers up and operational. Now, when you ask these big corporations, they say, yeah, it's needed because these machines get heated too fast. It's overheating. So to keep them cool, basically, we need to use water. It could be true. Not saying it is false allegations, but I think there's much more to it than just that simple explanation. And I'm going to be giving my 2 cents as to what I feel could be the reason. Again, these are just theories. It's just my opinions. Could be wrong, could be right. You never really know. And if you are here for the first time, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with all my latest videos. And without any further ado, let's check out the video.
1/15 of a teaspoon. That's how much water the average single interaction with ChatGPT uses, according to Sam Altman, the boss of OpenAI. So if you type, "Can you help me solve this maths problem?" that's a drop. Or, "Can I put lime instead of lemon in this recipe?" that's a drop. Or, "Why is the sky blue? Help me write this email. Help me improve my website code." Mr. Altman claims there are 1 billion messages sent to ChatGPT every day, and ChatGPT is just one AI bot. Chuck in Gemini, DeepSeek, Claude, and others. It's clear that the AI revolution is a thirsty one.
1 billion messages every single day, that too only on ChatGPT. You've got Google Gemini, you've got hundreds of new AI search engine or tools available right now. So the amount of water which is allegedly the amount of water which needs to be consumed or used is crazy.
Striking though it is, some experts are more than a little skeptical of Sam Altman's estimate on water usage.
Obviously.
At this point, there was just not enough information for me to agree with or trust the number. Their number was perhaps referring to some tiny models. We're considering a medium-sized large language model. That's the size of GPT-3. Basically, if you write an email or ask some questions, if you have 10 to 50 queries, you're going to be consuming roughly 500 milliliters water.
This calculation includes water used in cooling and electricity generation. The BBC asked OpenAI for more details about Sam Altman's estimate, but the company declined. Either way, it's clear AI uses a lot of water. But why? Every time you send a prompt to an AI, it has to run complex calculations to understand and respond. This work is done by the most powerful and specialized computer chips in the world, housed inside enormous data centers. Even before users can send prompts, the training process for the models uses the chips to carry out intense work. And all that extra power means the hardware can overheat and become damaged if not cooled properly. Most data centers use air cooling systems, which was fine until AI came along.
But now, because these data centers and the infrastructure that's going in is so much more energy intensive, there are liquid cooling approaches that are now being implemented.
For liquid cooling, the water must be clean to prevent bacteria growing or clogs and corrosion in the system, which means using mostly drinking water. Here's how the most common liquid cooling process.
It's very ironic that it needs drinking water. I mean, water is water. I mean, it's a machine. It's not a human being who's going to consume water. Yeah, you can filter it. You can use seawater. You can filter it. You can get it at least usable. But it's ironic that these machines need drinking water. I mean, that's what we need to survive, right? We need water to live. So it's it's a little ironic that it can't use any other tap water or any kind of regular water to cool the machines, but it needs drinking water. So that again makes you really think and wonder.
Process works. It begins by piping coolant over the processing chips within the servers. This cooling liquid absorbs the heat and takes it away from the electrics to a heat exchange unit. Water is used to reduce the temperature of the coolant. The coolant then recirculates back to cool the servers. Meanwhile, the now hot water is piped to cooling towers, where a combination of fans and water vapour dissipate the heat, cooling the water. Some of the water evaporates in that process, while the rest is recirculated through the cooling process several times before being discharged back into the nearby water source. Overall, up to 80% of the water evaporates.
What it means is that this type of water is gone and that we are extracting water from a water circuit that is necessary for irrigation, for human consumption and hygiene.
Communities around the world concerned about data centres putting stress on water sources and electricity grids are pushing back. Protests have been held in Spain, India, Chile, Uruguay and parts of the US. And it's not just the operations within the data centre that need water. Generating the electricity to run them requires a lot of water too, because power plants like coal, gas and nuclear heat water to create steam, which drives a turbine. The International Energy Agency has said electricity demand for AI-optimized data centers is expected to increase by 400% by 2030 to 300 terawatt hours. That's roughly the electricity consumption of the whole of the UK for a year. And aside from electricity, water is also needed when manufacturing the semiconductor chips used to run AI.
So water is both used directly and indirectly in the whole supply and creation chain of AI technologies. It is used for the refination of the critical raw materials that are needed to create the hardware of AI.
Getting accurate figures on how much water it takes to build AI systems and run them is difficult. Google, Meta and Microsoft release annual figures showing that their data centers use billions of litres of water every year from local sources, but none of them indicate how much of it is due to AI. Most tech giants recognise the impact it's having. Many, including Google, Microsoft and Meta, have pledged to be water neutral by 2030.
Highly doubtful.
We hope that can happen, that there is a long way to go to get to those kind of numbers. Part of what we hope to see is across the industry a range of innovations that allow us to maybe minimize the use of water.
Companies are trialling, for example, ways to cool data centers without evaporating any water at all, and to use the heat that's generated to warm homes. There are also experiments to move data centers away from communities entirely, under the sea, to the Arctic, or even off the planet.
Can we actually put capacity out in space? It's very, very early stage. So what we at NTT are looking at is, can we launch satellites that can at least do some more backup oriented or other oriented tasks?
Those skeptics point to the many hurdles that need to be overcome. There is optimism too, about a more sustainable future.
Let's remember that Gen AI capability is still very, very young. It's moved exponentially fast, but as an industry and as a use, it is still young. Ideally, we can learn together as a society and as a world society, how do we minimize against the use of water and energy? Because this is all, a world resource when we talk about water.
So guys, that was how AI uses our drinking water, the video, a documentary, very short video from the BBC regarding AI and its effects on the community, on society as a general, and its consumption of water on a massive scale. Now again, coming back to the video, some of the points that it discussed where it said that these centers need clean, bacteria-free. Okay, I get clean water. You can use tap water, you can use regular water, you can filter it through different filters, but it needs specifically drinking water. Now, that's something that's a bit of a concern, because what do you actually prioritize? Do you do you think about machines, or you think about the planet, about people, about living, about individuals? I mean, we need to drink water. We can survive a day or two without food, but water is something that we need to drink every single day. And the fact that it's consuming only drinking water or fresh water is a huge concern, because that raises an element of suspicion, doubt in people's minds that where these big corporations giving their priorities to. Again, yeah, obviously for them it's the money, it's the profits that they make from AI. But at the end of the day, if there's no one to really consume AI as using the tools and features, then there's no point of having AI, right? So thinking about the people should be first, rather about the machines. Now, coming to my take on AI centers and the consumption of water, this could be partially true. Could be true that these machines need water to cool the overheating. But point is, if we have come such a long way in technology, it's 2026. It's not like we are living in the 18 or 1900s where we need to use water to cool certain machines or tools. And there are things like air conditioners, like refrigerators, which have been there for decades right now. And those are also used to cool a surface area. They're used to cool an office, a building. And you can even use those, I think, to cool even the machines. Like, for example, if you have a fridge, you have a freezer compartment, like where you store all the meats and the ice and stuff which needs to be frozen, right? So you can work around that. You can build a technology where these data centers or these machines or these chips are made and enclosed within some kind of a conductor which keeps everything cool, where you don't need to use water as such. I mean, yeah, you will obviously have to use some sort of energy to produce that cold. But at the end of the day, you can save on water, and that's the whole goal of trying to reduce the water consumption, or the footprint, the carbon or the water footprint, you can call it. Another interesting take, I've seen a couple of videos in the past few days where some people are saying that these youth centers are just a facade for something which is way deeper, literally. And it's where all these elites and these billionaires are actually building bunkers underground to, in case something goes down. With all these wars happening across the world, you have Iran and US and Israel, and you have other places at war. In case there's any kind of emergency where things go south and where you need to hide from any nuclear holocaust or any kind of nuclear war, the best place would be to hide underground, so it won't affect you, the weather, the climate, the dust. So you'll be living underground, so you need to survive, right? So obviously you can grow food underground, you can take soil, but what you need is fresh drinking water. So that also is a very interesting take. I've heard from a couple of people where these centers are just facades for actually storing water in case of something, if something goes wrong in the near future. And that also makes sense, because so much of water for cooling machines is a little bit strange. I mean, we have lived through the 90s, at least our generation lived through the 90s, the 2000s, and we have come to a point where we are so advanced in technology, and yet we need water to cool machines. It sounds a little weird, to be honest with you. And these huge amounts of water are actually a bit of a concern if it's being used to store or as a storage, and it's being taken from the world just because a few people want to build bunkers and stay underground in case something happens. Again, these are just theories. I can't really back it up by any sources. But the interesting fact is there's also a lot of this mentioned in the Bible, where you look at Revelations, the end of days, and there are a few verses which talk about water being contaminated, water being used up, water being consumed on a massive scale. And it kind of aligns with what the book says. Again, you can be religious, you can be atheist, you can be agnostic. That's completely up to you. But yeah, it's a little interesting regarding these AI centers, and I for one will try to use less AI if possible. Even you guys, I mean, to help save water, at least we can do our part. So I mean, the thumbnail and whatever I make in this video isn't without AI. It's just normal searching stuff. I haven't used much AI to try to at least cut back on the water footprint or the carbon footprint, you can call it. So if you guys like the video, like my take on these AI centers and what it could be used for, what it is being used for, what do you think, you can leave your comments down below. I would love to see all your comments. If you guys like the video, like the reaction, smash that like button and do subscribe to the channel. It really helped me a lot to grow the channel and give you more content, more videos on a daily or at least a weekly basis for now. And I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, stay safe and bye.